Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. After a video by Oxagon, we now have one by Oxagon. And he's in the M53, M55 on the south spawn of Siegfried Line, the Tier 9 American SPG. Well, it's fairly obvious, 3 marks of excellence. That means that Oxagon is very accurate, he does a lot of damage, and he's very consistent and persistent with the enemy. In this game, he's combined with Soul Collector, who's in a Panzer III PR07HK, which is the German flat pack, and he's up ahead at the moment. You can see that Oxagon is aiming down the corridor that leads alongside the walls of the gate. First enemy tank that comes into sight, so Barask making a quick dart for the center road, but he's stopped. Rounds out. Well, he got too close and he got splashed for 250. He's very lucky that he wasn't wiped out. Somebody wasn't firing accurately at him, but Oxagon did get a round in. And now we've got a 122 TM and a G-Saw coming up to the center bunker. Now that bunker will give a certain amount of protection, but not a huge amount. And that G-Saw is about to find out to his cost that it's not good protection overall. Yep, he's taken a splash for only 87. He's lucky it's only 87. It could have been a lot worse actually if that shell had struck him, because G-Saws don't have a lot of armor. They do have a nice auto-loading 105mm, but yeah, not a lot of armor, which makes them vulnerable. And you can see Oxagon's almost reloaded. Rounds out straight away. Direct hit! Well, that G-Saw's probably... Yes, he's lost all his hit points that time. That really did hurt. He'd already lost some to some of the other tanks, but that one took him down to just 71, I think it was. A blind hit. Now, the standard reload, 40.27 seconds. Oxagon's got 31.01, so he's not 9 seconds off the reload time. 122 TM, rounds out. Direct hit again. Now, people say, why do you say rounds out in, every time you fire? Well, the main reason is there's such a long delay between firing an Arty shell and the shell landing. People forget that these shells, they're not going straight at the target. They're actually flying up through the air and then coming down on the target from a great height. So, yes, saying round out is necessary when you've got an actual travel time of about 2, maybe 3 seconds between firing the shell and it landing. So, yes, it's necessary to say rounds out because you've got to be warned in advance. Basically, a round's on the way. And of course, tank crews do say on the way, because that means that the shell is traveling towards the target. But when it comes to an Arty, well, sometimes, not that they would actually say it on the at the Arty base, but they would actually indicate that the round was out to the fire control observer, the forward observer, or the fist team as they would call it. They would actually call out over the net to say that the round was on the way. Another splash, 37 hit points on the M53. Ooh, counter battery. Well, he managed to get some damage and some stun out of that one, so he did land the shell close enough. But not that we want him to be able to do that again. It is a batch at 155-55, the Tier 9 French SPG. He's the only Arty on the enemy team, and he's likely to have a reload time of about 30 seconds. So we need to watch out because the next round could be inbound very shortly. Well, we'll watch for... Oh, no, I think he's... No, he's not aiming for the center on the west. So we'll have to wait and see where the next shell lands. It hasn't landed yet. So I think he's decided to look elsewhere for his next target, and he's probably dialing in on that target right now. Let's have a quick look over on the east side of the map. We found the target, the M53Y. Dialing in. Let it settle. Rounds out. Direct hit, wipe out. 370 hit points. We can see now the enemy Arty is actually going after our TL7, slightly ahead of us and to the west. We've got enemy tanks on the south side of the town, which is kind of inconvenient. We just lost an E75, taken out by the TNH TVIS-51. So the enemy have control of the town at the moment. And our guys are pulling back. Rounds out the ELC. He takes a splash for 202. Might have to move. The Batchat's probably looking at where that shell came from, the one that hit the ELC, and the ELC has gone down. He went down to the TL7. Okay, we can see Soul Collector is very close to the town. He's spotting a T95 and a TNH TVIS-51. That guy got a kill a short while ago, but he's now one shot. And if we can put a round in there, yes, he gets him. 103 hit points and another kill. Okay, so the scores are even at the moment, but the enemy does have control of the town. Now, it's not an encounter game, so control of the town is not a critical point. It's when they start coming out of the town, that's when you got to worry. That T95 still there, using that wrecked house. 45 came out too far, and he took 206 hit points, and we got loads of stun assists, and that's certainly going to help with getting us a high mastery of this game. 2,000 actual damage, 1,700 of assists so far. I say so far because he's probably done a lot more than those figures, actually, because remember, there were some blind shots that he has actually had. 2 on the center lines we know of. And Soul Collector just got hit by the Batchat 155-55, so we know he's under fire now. Striv rounds out on him. Direct hit, 370. The enemy Batchat has been found. Canonian Jagdpanzer 105 just got the kill. So he was sitting around for too long, wasn't relocating, and he's now out the equation. So we don't have to worry about counter battery now anymore. What we do have to worry about is keeping Soul Collector alive so he can spot for us. At the moment, that Striv is not being very helpful, and the T95, well, he's using that wreck house to his advantage. Soul Collector just got a hit, I think, on the Striv, and our shell hit the building instead. But Soul Collector is about to get a kill on the Striv. It'll be his 4th if he gets it. The Canonian Jagdpanzer comes up behind him, and away goes that Striv. And now Soul Collector's moving up on the T95. Now he is a one-shot for that T95, but he did get the hit. Can he get the kill shot? Yes, he did. Oh, no, he didn't. The TL got it from behind him. So he was missing out on his 4th kill. There's only 3 enemies left. The TNH TVIS-51 and the 2 tank destroyers, the SU-130PM and the Scorpion G. And I think the TNH could go out of the game with just 1 shot. Nope, not that one. Oh, and that wasn't good. The Scorpion G sneaked up and put a round right through Soul Collector while he was looking the other way. And now we've got to worry about this guy. Well, oh, he does get Soul Collector. But we get revenge because he goes out the game. And that was a penetrating shot, low roll. Well, that's all he had left. Only 1 enemy remaining, the SU-130PM. We think he's in the north of the map, but we don't know where precisely. He could be up on the hill on the east side. So he may have been seen in the position on the map that he's showing right now. I think he's probably on the east side of the map, on the hill. over there somewhere in the trees. More than likely. Yes, there he is. Rounds out. Oh, that was a good one. 265. He stuns him. The Canonian Jagdpanzer's getting into a position where he can get his gun to bear. But the Echelon-30 gets his gun to bear first. But he goes down to the ELC M90. And that is the end of the game. Here's the end of battle results, and that was an ace tanker game from Oxagon of ENJ0Y in the M53, M55. He got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 12 in that one. He got a gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points for his own vehicle. A high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game overall. And on top of that, he got a Confederate as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. A very useful partner to have in a battle because he can hit over a very wide range of the battlefield. Win 8 from that game, 6,950, which is super unicum and a lot more. And you can see you have to scroll to see all of the targets that he hit during that game. Let's have a look at team score. Well, the highest damage in the game turned out to be 4,480 hit points of damage. That went to Oxagon. Second highest damage turned out to be the Kampfpanzer 3 PR, which is actually Soul Collector, his other name. And he's got 3,352 hit points. And the third highest was the TNHT VIS-51 on the enemy team with 3,229. When it came to kills, it was the Canonian Jagdpanzer did the best. He got 4 kills in that game. In fact, he sneaked in and nipped another one away from Soul Collector, who was about to kill that Striv 1030 until the Canonian Jagdpanzer came from killing the Batchat and went through the gates and came right up behind the Striv and caught him completely unawares. 3 kills went to Oxagon and also to Soul Collector, and nobody on the enemy team managed to get more than 2 kills except for that TNHT VIS-51. When it came to base XP, it was, yes, Soul Collector who got the highest. He was sporting as well at actually doing damage. 1,313 went to Soul Collector, 1,163 went to Oxagon, and they were the only 2 players who managed to get over 1,000 base, so a very useful platoon to the team, with the third place being the Canonian Jagdpanzer getting 915. He fired 15 rounds, so a decent amount of ammunition to get a good score. 7 direct hits on the enemy, 1 penetrating shot, 16 splash, damage of 4,480 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damage did receive 1 hit by way of damage from the enemy Arty, the splash. It was only 11 hit points, but it was a warning that you're not moving about enough. 10 enemy vehicles were damaged, 3 were killed, and 2,036 hit points of stun assist or 14 stuns. On a premium count, he actually earned a profit of 13,767 credits in that game. You might ask, why is that such a low figure given the size of the win that they managed to get? But yes, he has to pay for consumables at full price. And that's why it's always a good reason to actually pay for your consumables whilst they're at half price. So store up all your credits so you've got millions and millions of credits spare. And then bulk buy all of the consumables that you might be using for the next 6 months to a year. And then when your results come in, they look much better because, of course, you're not paying full price for consumables. You're only paying the half price because that's what you effectively paid for them. He also picked up 1,744 experience points as well. So a decent battle for the first one. Yes, it's a 2 replay game, a 2 replay video. So let's have a look at the second battle and see if Oxagon can repeat his success from this one. The second replay is on the north spawn of Prokhorovka, and yes, again, we've got Soul Collector in the Kampfpanzer 3. Game on. I think some people have actually questioned why so many Artys actually have the engine at the front of the vehicle, and basically it's a tank in reverse. Well, it's all down to weight in the end. It's trying to balance the huge weight of that howitzer against the engine, and it actually makes it a lot easier to put the engine up front rather than have it at the back, because of course then you're having to put the howitzer at the front of the vehicle, and that can upset the balance. In fact, Artys that have the engine tend to put the engine, if they put the engine anywhere other than the front, is to actually put it in the middle of the vehicle and then put the howitzer on top of the Arty, top of the engine. But if they do that, then you actually increase the height of the vehicle, and that's why the Hummel is so high, because the howitzer is actually on the engine. But in the howitzers, the Artys like the M53, M55, the FP3805, the FP207, they've actually put the howitzer at the back, the engine up front, and it balances the weight out. And of course the Germans knew this as well, because of course virtually all of their Artys have the engine up front and the howitzer at the back. Okay, Panzerkampfwagen 7. We've landed in a tier 10 game, but it's got tier 8 tanks in it, and there's a couple of enemy tanks up on top of the hill. So it looks to me like Oxagon's going to focus on these guys. He decided not to shoot there, but the Shure MV7X has extended himself with his 4-shot autoloader. And yes, he does take a hit for a 374 from that one. It's a 2.8 second flight time for the shell. Now, one of the best advantages for the M53, M55 is the fact it does have a very wide firing arc, 30 degrees either side of the center line. And that means that if you set it up correctly, you don't have to move that much in order to shoot over a wide range without moving the entire vehicle. So you can actually cover most of the battlefield. Rounds out. That long delay before the shell arrives. Of course, that's what also gave the M44 its big success, because of course the howitzer could set up and without much movement, it could dial in on a new target and was already virtually fully dialed in, just had a small adjustment to make before it was ready. Okay, we're loaded. There's still that Shure MV7X up there on the hill, but looks like we're now going to have a look at that Kampfpanzer 7. There he is. Rounds out. Yep, that hit the front of the vehicle, but of course that's the front engine tank as well, which means of course that the engine is protecting the crew. T-28 prototype up on the sniper's nest area. And he's got a Lanson C behind him as well. Got 2 Artys on our team, 2 Artys on the enemy team as well. On our team, we've got a Lorraine 15551. That's a direct hit. And on the enemy team, they've got a GW Tiger and an FP207. Okay, there's that Lancer C. So when the T-28 pulled back, it looks like the Lancer C didn't. He's just readjusted now. Rounds out. That looks a good shot. Looks like both Artys are firing in the same direction. Again, that's another reason for actually signaling where you're actually aiming your shell, because it could be that the other Arty on your team will coordinate with you and they'll both aim at the same spot. And when that happens, usually you get the stun assist and the other Arty gets the follow-up damage, and vice versa. So it does follow that if you aim for the same general area, same direction, one of you might get the assist, the other one gets the stun. And of course it does help as well, because if a tank does get stunned and it's stationary, it's an easier target. Panzer's changed his position. He's moved slightly out, and I think he's probably yes, he's probably done that because he couldn't get good shots on the rest of our guys. But that was a hit. 291. He's probably recognized that most of our guys are now over on the west side of the map. We've got the Vipera at the railway crossing, and the Viz-55 is holding back the enemy from coming down off the hill. Although he's marked on the board the where he's actually looking at the moment, you see that little down arrow appeared on the mini-map. That's Oxagon telling his teammate where he's looking. And again, that's something I do on a regular basis to say, this is what I'm looking at. Generally, on most of the time, though, I'm actually aiming at a target, and I've already got the next target lined up. And there you go. We did get a double hit there. And the Lorraine got the follow-up shot. And he's probably happy about that, because even though he doesn't get the assist, he certainly picks up an easier target. Okay, we're balancing our forces over on the east side of the map. And the Panzerkampfwagen 7 has now gone into the village. So he's trying to get at our guys on the east side. Well, that just missed the lance and it fell short. But that didn't. That went right through him. And the Lorraine's got his kill. Now that sharp U-204 that was over on the hill on the east side of the map, he's gone. Taken out by the Visante. We're still top heavy on the west side of the map though. So many tanks over this side, very few over the other side. Panzerkampfwagen 7 in the village. Still not moving. He doesn't want to take a huge amount of damage from the Vipera and from the tanks who've gone up on the hill. Now this is a turn up for the books, because the FV207, oh, well, he's gone. That was a very, very silly move by the FV207, and I suspect he wanted to get out of this game as quickly as possible, go into another one. Soul Collector still hasn't got a kill, but he is up in the sniper's nest on the north end of the west side. I just think there's too many of our guys just hanging around the lane on the west side. Don't want to move forward. The RU-251's finally got the nod to go ahead and get further south. Hasn't found anyone yet, but oh, he has now. The SMV CC67. We're dialing in. Has he marked the target? Yes, he has. Here we go. Rounds out. Direct hit. 183. And the damage is starting to pile on. Look at that. That's how it's done. The next target's already been marked. The T28 prototype. BZ-176 over on the centre line on the railway crossing. And they decided not to fire there because he was uncertain exactly where the BZ had actually gone. RU-251 did take some damage when he moved south, but he's still going. He's still moving south. In fact, he's gone out into the bowl, which is probably going to put him at risk. I'm hoping he'll spot that BZ-176. But we're aiming for the Panzerkampfwagen 7. Unfortunately, we don't get anything. Well, the TS-54 has decided he's taking control of the battle, and he's pushing south. The enemy just lost their T-28 prototype to our hash barn. And we're now 3 tanks ahead. There's the BZ. Lined up. And we're loaded. Rounds out straight away. Oh, and it falls short. That's not good. That was RNG saying no way. It's going to take more than a few shots to get rid of that Panzerkampfwagen 7. The TS-54 has turned around and come back a bit. But he has actually inspired some of the others to move forward. Soul Collectors move forward as well. There's a hit into the side of the Sieben. BZ-75 is now going for it in a big way, storming down the west side of the map. And we're now tracking him. He's found someone, and it's a G-Saw. Oh, he does not last long. He's out of it, and Soul Collector gets the kill. Okay, we're loaded, ready to go. There's a tree just gone down on the right. There's one. Object 252U takes a hit, 212. Unfortunately, the BZ-75 does expire, but he did get some spotting before he went. And look at this damage coming in from Soul Collector. The 252U is on his last legs. And I think that's inspired the others to go for it now. There's only 5 enemy remaining. There's action going on up on top of the hill. We're having a quick look at that BZ-176. Looks good. Direct hit, 437. And he takes even more damage. So more stun assist off that one. And he's gone. That means there's only 3 left on the enemy team, including that wounded Object 252U. Nobody left on top of the hill for the enemy. So our team are now streaming down. The GW Tiger's just been spotted, and he's been slotted. And now it's just a one-shot for the 252U. Remaining enemy is only their Canoni Jagdpanzer 105. We just don't know where he is at the moment. And there's the 2-minute warning. No sign of him. Where did he go? Oh, there he is. He's in the center. He must have had good camo. Well, rounds out. This could be a hill. It is. Well, it's not an improvement from the last one. The last one was an ace tanker, but this one is a second-class tanker for Oxagon of ENJ0Y in the M53, M55. He got a bruise medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 8. He got a Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points of his own vehicle. He got one of those in the last battle, and he also got a Confederate as well, like the last battle, for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else in his team. His win rate was 3,921. I guess the medals that he was missing on this occasion was the high caliber. So not quite as good, slightly higher win rate on the battle on Siegfried Line, but on this one, he had to work harder because most of his team were reluctant to actually move south to actually go look for the enemy, which means he was starved of information for a long time during the battle. Let's have a look at team score. Well, this one, he does get the highest damage, but didn't get 20% of the enemy hit pool, and that's why he didn't get the high caliber. Deprived of it, unfortunately, by the fact that his teammate wouldn't look for the enemy. 3,621 hit points of damage. Second highest damage actually went to the UDAS-03 on the enemy team, 2,969. And the third highest damage, well, that went to the APAMX-30 with 2,753 hit points. That guy got a Confederate as well. We can see that Soul Collector got 1,804 in that one. So he didn't get quite as much as he did in the last one. But that's because he was playing more of the sniper role on the west side of the map. When it came to kills, the high scorer was the Heshpan. 3 kills to him. 2 kills to Besante C45, the Kampfpanzer 3, And also to the TS5 on the enemy team, they had the ENJ0Y and the BZ176 with 2 kills. And Oxagon only got 1 kill out of this game. But when it came to base XP, he's in 3rd place, with the Bisonte getting 1,106, the Kampfpanzer, which was Soul Collector, getting 1,020, and they were the only 2 players who managed to get over 1,000 base, with Oxagon getting 903 out of that game. He fired 17 rounds, so he actually fired more rounds in this one than he did in the previous battle. He got 8 direct hits and 1 penetrating shot, 14 splash, damage of 3,621, all of it at more than 300 meters, damaged 9 in the enemy, killed 1, and did 1,360 hit points of stun assist off 13 stuns. Now in this battle, he actually made a loss. 1,937 credits loss, not a huge amount, but it is a loss, and that's mainly down to the fact that he just didn't earn as much on the battle, and of course he still had to pay the consumables. If you remember in the previous game, if we go to the details, you can see he did earn more overall, and so he came out with slightly more over here. So yes, it wasn't quite as good as the previous one. 1,354 experience points, but yes, he came out positive all the same. And so 2 interesting battles in the M53, M55. And I think Oxagon has sent in another replay, so we'll be doing that one a little later. And you'll see how he got on later on during the evening. If you enjoyed those replays, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.